Hey folks, I'm Sam I Am, and we're going to revisit this CNBC interview with Christine Lagarde that was done a few weeks ago because the Body Language Ghost channel on YouTube did an analysis of her body language, and in watching it and kind of really paying attention to some of the finer, subtle clues in Christine Lagarde's body language, it really expanded upon and gave me some new insights into her answers, which are, I think, very precise. And, you know, the Body Language Ghost, she nails the body language stuff, but I don't think she really has the full context of what's going on in the space, but I do. So as we go through this, I'm going to pause, let you listen to what she has to say. I'm going to pause and comment and give you more of the context and what I think it means. So let's jump in.
One of the main topics up there was cryptocurrencies and all sorts of companies.
Cryptocurrencies. Breath goes in, mouth closes.
Now getting into this effort, not least among them Facebook. What kind of threat does this?
I love that, man. It's my favorite. She went from playing with her pen, low-grade stress, interviews don't actually make everyone warm and fuzzy. So she brings it up, she's going to cross her arms, and then realizes as she's doing it, oh, bad body language. Let me go back to my pen, like almost instantly. So we can say that this subject is very high stress, to the point where she forgot her training.
Opposed to the traditional banking.
Okay, now think about the question there. What threat does cryptocurrencies pose to the traditional banking system? Keep that in mind.
System.
Well, I think it's, you have incumbents, the banks, commercial banks, and you have the disruptors. And clearly the disruptors are having an impact on the incumbents. We just heard...
What did she tell us last year? Massive disruption is coming to the banking system. And then a few months later, she came out and said it's time for the central banks and the commercial banks to start adopting blockchain.
A very large...
So now you're watching her talk. She's giving you a stressed smile. She's giving you portrayal.
Large systemic bank.
Not a real laugh. Everything to sit there and say that, no, I'm trying to sell you something.
Here saying that they're launching...
And what is she trying to sell you on? Here's what the commercial banks are doing in response to this threat. She's stressed because she knows they're making missteps. She knows what they're doing is not going to work long term because she knows what's coming around the corner, the big picture. And, she can advise them, she can tell them what to do, but it's up to them to do it or not. And from the looks of it, they're not listening.
The digital coin, currently piloted in a way within the institutional clients, but to be scaled beyond that. We heard from the European Central Bank that they have launched in November something that is called TIPS, that enables all the banks in the Eurozone to actually transfer instantly at virtually no cost money between them. So I think the role of the disruptors and anything that is using distributed ledger technology, whether you call it...
That was interesting. She went up on her toes. It's like a final sentence thing. She's gone over some of the crypto coins.
Not quite. She's gone over sort of some of the innovations that the banks have done in response to the threat of cryptocurrency, but none of them have implemented it. They've tried to put lipstick on a pig, improve their existing system without solving the fundamental flaws in their current architecture. But remember, when I talked about this, when she got to this answer, I said something's changed with her. She's clearly been in some meetings. She's been briefed on what Ripple and XRP and DLT is, and she's been given new talking points. This is kind of one of the, I saw this and it kind of clued me in. I pick up on body language kind of subconsciously, but she really calls it out here.
Not mentioned real crypto. So she finally gets that out and she goes on her tiptoes like, oh, she's reached the top of the hill. So everything else from this point should be downhill. Mentally on the why, I don't know. But for some reason,
I do.
Mentioning that was like a big hill.
Crypto assets, currencies or whatever, and it's far from the bitcoins that we used to talk about a year ago. That is clearly shaking the system. The voice that we heard, which was, I thought, really interesting, were those of the regulators and central bank.
And you see the demeanor has gone much quieter. She's not waving her arms around anymore. She's giving thought. So the ones that she mentioned prior, before the top of the hill, more stress there. Mentioning Bitcoin and the aftermath, not so much stress.
And actually what she's mentioning is this is not the Bitcoin. This is, crypto 2.0. This is distributed ledger technology. She's talking about Ripple and XRP.
More comfortable mentioning Bitcoin at this point, which kind of makes me suspicious. You know, the folly of any predator is underestimating its prey.
Governors who said, well, yes, this is good and this is helpful and it is changing the business model of commercial banks. But we have to be mindful of two things, trust and stability of the system. And we are equally concerned, we at the IMF, about stability. We don't want innovation that would shake the system.
We saw a big...
Okay, what did she just communicate there? Because that's a very, very key point. They want security and stability. They don't want innovation that could shake the system, meaning whatever the solution is, it needs to be something that we're comfortable with, that we know is going to provide safety and security, but more importantly, we're in control of the process. So let me ask you, audience, you know exactly where I'm going with this. What company has been doing trials with the banks since 2014, 2015, up to, today? What company is out there in meetings with the IMF? Who was Ross Leckow, the chief lawyer for the IMF, on stage with recently, and also went to the user conference for this same company? It's Ripple and XRP. That's the only crypto, the only company in this space really that the banks have been working with on for years now, and they're very comfortable with them, and they know, they trust the technology, they trust their network, they trust, the people behind it, because Ripple has gone out and recruited, some very key people from SWIFT, from the banking sector, from, all over the space. They're a top-notch company, and that's what's giving them the confidence to move forward. They're not going to do that with Bitcoin or Litecoin or anything else that has nothing but developers working on it.
Breath in that one. We don't want innovation that would shake the system. If I had to guess, Facebook and European banks are something that they, IMF, should have control over. And by them doing that, because we got to that hill point, that mentioning that showed the weakness that they had in the control. And then...
Exactly. But it's not... the control is over the solution that's being brought out. And that's what I just went through. But control is absolutely right.
She mentions Bitcoin. It doesn't give her stress, which is the after hill moment.
So much that we would lose the stability that is needed.
And our regulators and doing enough right now to ensure that stability and as well competition from some of these big tech companies being involved in this space?
I think they're mindful of wherever the competition is coming from. The central bank governor of Kenya was explaining to us that they gave a banking license to a telecom company. And I think in the future, we have to look at what lots of data collectors and movers are going to do, and whether they're going to move into the banking space forcefully, in which case they will have to be regulated. They will have to be held accountable.
Data collectors and movers. Who do you think she's talking about? Facebook, Google, all that all of these tech companies, where they really make their money is on our data. And that's, she's signaling that they're going to be moving into the banking space. They're going to end up getting banking licenses down the road.
So that they can be fully trusted.
Madame Lagarde, I know you have a tight schedule. Thank you.
And there was that portrayal throughout the whole Kenya. You also see her lean away from this woman. This was a conversation she didn't really want to have. If you
wonder why. All right. I found that super insightful. I hope you guys did as well. I'm Sam I Am. We will catch you next video.